I want to start by first just asking, what do you first remember about meeting Twitch for the first time?
Well, the very first time, he kind of seemed like this kind of bigger than life, kind of goofy a little bit when he came up to talk to us the very first time. Then his number was so fun, and I just remember laughing. And with me and Nigel were really enjoying his routine. But when we told him he had to go to the end of the day and do choreography, he didn't do so well. And so we were like, God, there's something we really like about this guy, but he's just not ready for this show. So we told him, go away, you need to work hard, come back to us. So he did what he could, and he came back. And again, his audition number was really great. But when it came to dancing the other choreography during the end of the day, it still wasn't strong enough. And we were like, but he was better. That's what we remember. I said, gosh, he is getting better, but we didn't want him to get on the show and then just get kicked off the show. So we told him the sad news one more time. We said, please, we really do mean it. Please come back, work hard, go into dance studios, go into a ballroom studio, exchange with another dancer. Hey, they'll want to do hip hop, and they'll give you ballroom lessons, because that's pretty much what everybody feared the most on the show was ballroom. And anyways, he came back, and I think we still weren't that easy on him, to be honest with you. We made him dance for his life a couple times at the Las Vegas week. And then that final day, he had one more solo to really change our minds this time. And boy, did he ever. That was the biggest defining moment of his career. He did a number to a classical piece of music, which we had never seen at that point before. And he was demonstrating and bringing the music to life by playing the instruments through his body, imitating the instruments through his popping. It was so magnificent, and it just kept getting better and better and better. And the music was building, it was like such an unbelievable moment to the fact when the music ended, we stood straight up. We were just jumping up and down. I'm sure I went completely nuts. And we had just been served. He laid it all out there, and he was in our face. Go ahead, see if you can't take me this year. And for sure, we did. And from that moment on, and you don't have that many special moments as a dancer in your career where one is with the universe. They call it the flow experience athletes do, when everything seems to be in harmony and you don't go back and be self-critical on yourself. That day had everything. It was technically just mind-boggling to watch his body, the way he moved that day. And from there on, he just soared. And me and Nigel, we can't be prouder when we work with somebody for so long and watch them, have to take it, being on national television and being told no, a couple times even is more than most of the contestants could take. They would be gone. But he had that never give up attitude, and he came back and fought for it and annihilated it. And he said, not this year. You're not going to not take me this year. And from that moment on, he had a brilliant season. And I think it all accumulated in that finale too, where he was supposed to be dancing with Alex Wong, and Ellen came out on the door and did that hip hop number with him. I mean, they kept that a secret from me, by the way. I think they just wanted to get my natural reaction. And I just lost it. It was one of the most special moments. And of course, I adore Ellen as well. And to have that moment and the legacy of all the dances that he has on camera now is the legacy that is left behind as a dancer. And a lot of dancers, they just don't have that, when you perform in different arenas and halls and things like that, you don't have that on television film forever. And so he has left us a huge legacy of all of his work, and it'll be amazing. It's so sad for all of us in the dance community.
So you think you dance was just the start. What was it like for you, watching him grow from the first time you met him when he was like, "Don't tell me no,"
Yeah.
until now and everything he's done? What was it like for you?
Well, I mean, it was certainly a thrill in my life. When we see so many come and go so fast, the fact that, like you said, that he kept coming back. And so you get to know him a little bit better. And then, of course, as he goes through the season, you get to know him a little bit better. And then when he became a judge, that was a big full circle moment for me and Nigel, that we do feel like proud parents. I don't have any children. The dance children of this world are my children. And I do feel like a proud mama bear over Twitch. And I couldn't have been happier to see him get the position that he had on Ellen. And then when I started to see him guest hosting, and then I started seeing him in other movies, and oh my goodness, Magic Mike. I don't know that was like a mother watching that. I just, had really had struggled watching that movie because I don't see him like that. But I was certainly the proudest person.
He met his wife, Allison, on the show. What was it like to watch them fall in love and be brought together by dance, of all things?
Well, at first, we hear whispers, and then of course it gets to us and we're like, yeah, do you think they're together? I don't know. I think they might be, you think they're flirting with each other. And then there was that moment in the after party where they had a dance together, and then they held hands after that. And I'm pretty sure they were together after that. It was pretty special when we found out that first that they were dating. I mean, of course, me and Nigel will be the biggest cheerleaders on that reunion there, and just love the fact that we had our first So You Think You Can Dance wedding. We just I don't know, we were just beaming.
Now obviously with this news breaking today, it was absolutely devastating for so many, and a shock, to say the least. What went through your head today when you heard of this news?
Well, I was downstairs in the ballroom preparing to open the doors for our contestants to come in and compete. And luckily there was only a few people in the ballroom. And it was one of my best friends that called and said, urgent, and, she doesn't really do that often. Please, pick up your phone, please answer me. And I immediately thought that maybe my brother had passed away. And when I get a call like that, never in a million years did I ever dream that it was Twitch. And she said, Twitch just passed away. And I couldn't talk to her. I dropped the phone. I went behind the dress vendor and went to the ground and just started crying. Out of all the people that I know in my life, I would have never thought anything like that could ever happen to him. I just, I'm shocked with the rest of the world. He was so well loved. So You Think You Can Dance is in so many countries. And he is someone that is known and loved. I don't know anybody that hasn't fallen in love with Twitch, and to be just the teeniest part of his journey has meant so much to me.
When we see a bright light like Twitch, someone who seems to be living the dream and has touched so many people, like you said, and we see them meet and end like this, what do you want to say to those watching? How can we change the discussion around this topic?
Well, I definitely think there needs to be an open dialogue about mental health in this country and around the world. It's not just in this country, but we seem to be unraveling at the seams. And, COVID certainly didn't help the situation. But I think in particular, men have a harder time talking about their emotions or anything that they might be feeling, or the pressure of maybe being on television all the time. It isn't easy, like everybody thinks, to be in the public eye constantly. I know that women are, even though it does happen out of the blue, but women are much more likely to talk to their girlfriends. And when one girlfriend is down, the others usually will rally around you. I have a very good close-knit group of girlfriends, and we are all there for each other. And I don't feel like that's the same for men. And I think that dialogue needs to open up, because here you have somebody that's on the top of the world and so well loved, and anybody that I know would have helped him, and certainly his wife, and his 3 kids that he's left behind. I am devastated for them, and I only send love and prayers, and hope that if anything comes out of this, that an open dialogue for men to notice things, or try to get somebody to talk about their pain, as opposed to going to the final irreversible situation as this.
Since news came out this morning, people have just been, there is just an outpouring of love for Twitch, which is not shocking. What do you think his legacy, his impact is on this world?
Well, first of all, in the dance community, it's a huge impact. And I know he had a lot of fans outside the dance community, but the dancers themselves are a very connected community. And I think it's that way because we all know what we go through to become a dancer and be a professional dancer, and to stay relevant as long as we can, as long as our bodies will hold up. So everybody that's seen him come back to could feel the pain of what that's like. And, Nigel said, oh, you got to brush yourself off of your dancer. But I'm on the other side of it, that you have to give yourself time to grieve every time you get that no, and then pick yourself back up and then go. But you can't just be all hunky-dory after you get that no, or just slammed like you're awful or something like that. And, and I've gotten that in my career too. I remember one of the most famous old dance masters on a lesson that told me that I wouldn't dance with you if I had 50,000 pounds, and it annihilated me. It crushed me. I wasn't going to dance again. But a week later, you pop back up and you keep on going. He has impacted so many young dancers in this country and around the world with the ethic of being able to come back and keep going and never give up and keep trying to achieve your dreams. In that respect, he is going to be noticed for, never forgotten for his smile, his laugh, his twinkle eye that he had. And no matter how hard you try, by the way, you can't get twinkle eye. Either have it or you don't. A lot of stars have twinkle eye. And Twitch had that. And that he just shined when he danced. And when dancers have a passion for something and they're in their element and they're achieving greatness, you feel it on it's very, to be able to affect people like he did in 1 minute and 30 seconds tells you something about him. And not everybody can do that. And that's the short period of time that he had to dance. On a wider scale, the legacy of joy that he had an effect on people that were non-dancers is great around the world as well. Everywhere I go, people will bring up Twitch to me and tell me that, that was my favorite dancer, and because he was memorable, and he will be remembered as long as I live. He will be in my memory.
Is there one memory you have with Twitch that just is your favorite, that screams out your relationship and Twitch as a person?
Well, he was always kind to me, and of course he's kind to everybody, so it's not just me, but he always made me feel good on the set. And just the fact that he would come into my dressing room and and sit down and chat with I always had about 10 people that would come to every show. Some were personal friends, some were just, people that were desperate to get in and see the show. And I'd let them all have a conversation afterwards, and tWitch would come in and chat with them. And having those moments where he was thanking me too was really special to me. And we all loved him.
It's hard when people leave us far too soon, and this is definitely one of those situations. I don't think there could be enough time in the world with tWitch. Um, if there was anything you could say to tWitch, what would you want to say to him?
Oh my gosh. The fact that you tWitch, I love you. And you are a light in my life. And, I know he knows that I loved him. And I think that's all anybody can do. And I think everybody right now in their life should be hugging and taking notice of your friends and what people are going through in their life. And if somebody is looking like they have a rough day, you never know what a smile and a hug can mean to that person in their life at that moment.